Hello lovely students and welcome back to English with Lucy. In today's lesson, I am going to put your listening skills to the test. I've got a really interesting and useful activity for you. It's a dictation test. Now, if you've never heard of dictations before, don't worry because I'm going to tell you what they are and I will give you a thorough explanation of how this lesson is going to work. But first, don't forget to download the free PDF for today's lesson. It contains all the information on dictation, plus some links to some extra dictation exercises. So if you enjoy this lesson, you can practice even more and further improve your listening skills. To download it, all you need to do is click on the link in the description box, you enter your name and your email address, you sign up to my mailing list, and the PDF and the links will arrive directly in your inbox. After that, you're in my PDF club. You will automatically receive my free weekly lesson PDFs alongside all my news, course information, and offers. It's a free service. You can unsubscribe at any time. Okay, so what is dictation? Well, it's the process of listening to spoken words and writing what you hear. Pretty simple, right? Well, easier said than done, I suppose. This type of practice is really important to add to your English study routine because it can enhance your listening skills and your spelling and your vocabulary skills. Additionally, dictation helps improve your overall language proficiency as you start to unravel some of the intricacies of spoken English. To unravel is to investigate or to solve, to explain. Dictation exercises have so many benefits, and that's exactly why we're going to have a go at a dictation exercise today together. For this lesson, you are going to need a pen and a piece of paper, or if you don't have that, maybe a smartphone or something else to write on. I'm going to say a sentence aloud, out loud, and all I want you to do is listen. Then I'll repeat the sentence and you will write what you hear. I'll repeat the sentence a third time so you can make any necessary adjustments or write words that you missed. Then I will reveal the sentence and this is the important bit, I'm going to explain some of the features of the sentence that may cause confusion so that you can look out for them in the future. Before I read this first sentence, there are 71 words in total. I want you to keep track of how many words you get perfectly right. And then at the end, I will ask you to share your score out of 71 in the comments section. It will be interesting to see how you perform, and maybe you can come back to the video in a year and see if you can find your original comment and compare your score. Does it sound good? Well, let's start with the first sentence. So the first time we listen, second time you write, third time you tweak and correct. Ready? Our train was scheduled to arrive at 8:30, but it was an hour late. Our train was scheduled to arrive at 8:30, but it was an hour late. Last time now. Our train was scheduled to arrive at 8:30, but it was an hour late. Are you ready for the big reveal? Our train was scheduled to arrive at 8:30, but it was an hour late. How did you do? Maybe this one wasn't too much of a challenge, but we do have a few tricky, difficult points to look at. Firstly, we have the homophones hour and hour. Homophones are words with the same pronunciation but different spellings. Secondly, we have the pronunciation of scheduled. Scheduled. The pronunciation in British English is usually quite different compared to the American scheduled. I'm fickle. I use both. I was brought up with a dad saying scheduled and a mum saying scheduled, so I just flitted between the two. Fickle that I just used there means you change your loyalties or your opinions quite a lot. I said I flitted between the two. To flit is to move lightly or swiftly. Like a bird. A bird might flit between trees, or a butterfly might flit away. What I'm trying to communicate is that you should choose the one you like best and just go with that. Finally, we have passed in 8:30. And some of you may have written passed with an ed, which is the simple past form and past participle of to pass. But in this sentence, we're using the preposition past, P-A-S-T, to refer to a time later than 8. How many words did you get right out of 16 for this sentence? Keep that number because I'm going to ask you for your final score at the end. Okay, let's move on to the next dictation sentence. Ready? Even though the exam was tough, the professor had prepared them well enough. Even though the exam was tough, their professor had prepared them well enough. Even though the exam was tough, their professor had prepared them well enough. Okay, let's unpack this one. Did you notice the word unpack then? Two things I want to say about that. Firstly, it means to analyse small parts of it. You will hear this used a lot in podcasts. There's a lot we need to unpack here, to analyse here. Also, notice I said unpack, not unpack. This is an example of assimilation. I've changed the N, the N to to prepare myself to say P, unpack. Okay, here's the sentence. Even though the exam was tough, their professor had prepared them well enough. Let's start with these three words: though, tough, and enough. Despite having the same O-U-G-H spelling, though is pronounced differently to tough and enough. Unfortunately, there aren't set rules for when the pronunciation is different. These words just need to be learnt individually. Probably not what you wanted to hear, but that's English, I'm so sorry. In this sentence, we also use the possessive there, but you may be familiar with the two other homophones, there and there. Knowing which one to write comes with practice, but here are the quick rules. Use this there, T-H-E-I-R, for possession, their dog, their house. Use this there, T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E, when contracting the words they are, their best friends, and use this there, T-H-E-R-E, to refer to a location. I'll go there tomorrow. Got it? Brilliant. Next sentence. Ready? The chef used whole wheat flour to make the flower-shaped cakes. The chef used whole wheat flour to make the flower-shaped cakes. Last one. The chef used whole wheat flour to make the flower-shaped cakes. Okay, let's see how you did. The chef used whole wheat flour to make the flower-shaped cakes. I'm treating flower-shaped as two words there. Okay, flower and shaped, even though we have a hyphen. So we've got some fairly difficult things to examine in this sentence. First, let's look at chef, spelt with CH. This is a loan word, a word we have borrowed from French, which is why the CH makes the sh sound. We also have the appearance of some silent letters in the compound word whole wheat. We don't pronounce the W in whole, nor do we pronounce the H in wheat. Whole wheat. Finally, we have the homophones. We love homophones. Flour and flour. The former is a type of ground wheat or other grain often used in baking, while the latter is one that you might be more familiar with, the colourful part of a plant. Let me know your score and which part you found most challenging. Okay, sentence 4. He left a pair of shoes out by his mother's pear tree in the garden. He left a pair of shoes out by his mother's pear tree in the garden. One more time. He left a pair of shoes out by his mother's pear tree in the garden. I think this one was a bit easier than the previous one. What do you think? Although I said it with more of a flow. Let's take a look. He left a pair of shoes out by his mother's pear tree in the garden. In this sentence, perhaps the only tricky part is with the homophones pair and pair. Pair, spelt P-A-I-R, refers to two items of the same type that are used together. A pair of gloves, a pair of socks. Pear, spelt P-E-A-R, is a type of fruit, often recognised by its skinny top and larger bottom. They're also really delicious, but that's besides the point. Okay, we have our final sentence. This is going to give you your final score. Sentence 5. Are you ready? Ben tried to tear off the bandage wound around his wound as he fought back tears. Ben tried to tear off the bandage wound around his wound as he fought back tears. Final time. Ben tried to tear off the bandage wound around his wound as he fought back tears. How did you do? Here we are. Ben tried to tear off the bandage wound around his wound as he fought back tears. Let me explain the words though. This one was a doozy. A doozy is a very slang term for something really difficult or outstanding or unique. Let's look at what we've got. The biggest challenges in this sentence were related to the two pairs of homographs, tear and tear, and wound and wound. Tear, tear, wound, wound. If you aren't familiar with homographs, they are words that are spelt the same as another word. Graph refers to writing, but they have different meanings and often, but not always, different pronunciations. A quick look at the meanings. Tear, to pull apart or remove forcefully. Tear, a drop of liquid that comes from one's eye. Wound, past tense of the verb to wind, meaning to twist or wrap around. And wound, an injury. Once again, there is no straightforward guide to homographs. You just have to pick them up as you go. But luckily for you, you've just added some new ones to your vocab bank. You will now have your final score out of 71 that you can share with me in the comments to see how well you've performed in this dictation activity. Right, that's it for today's lesson. Don't forget to download the PDF because we have some links to some extra dictation practices. This will help you improve even further. The link for that is in the description box. Don't forget to connect with me on all of my social media. I've got my Facebook, my Instagram, and we have recently launched our 12-week English level programs. The Beautiful British English B1 program, the Beautiful British English B2 program, and the Beautiful British English C1 program. If you are interested in my programs, please visit englishwithlucy.com. Take a look at some of the amazing feedback from some of my awesome C1 students. They have just completed the first cohort of the C1 program and they got amazing results. I often see them in the comments section, so please say hello if you have taken one of my programs. I'd love to say hi. They were such an amazing bunch and I feel so lucky to have taught them and proud as well. That's it from me. I will see you soon for another lesson. Mwah.